just making too many errors at the moment when they're creating opportunities to come back for the penalty. Noel, just by treading water, not letting Lewington know what he's doing, buys an extra few metres. Lovely angle from Vermeulen, just going outside with Simmons on his shoulder, and then Chunza does a really good job as well, but ball stripped in the tackle, lost forward.
Just inside 22. Yeah. All your backs come up, the scrum set, and they just prep.
Just feel the Chiefs need to come away with something from this visit down to Saracens half. They haven't had a lot in this second half down in this area of the field at all.
And it's inside if we get a turnover.
Chunza, highest, Slade running hard, but none harder than Vermeulen. It's been a while since Exeter have been in these parts. Jack Dunn arrived from Leinster this season. Witten arrived from the other side of the border a long time ago.
Brilliant from Christie.
No, leave it now, no. He's offside.
Tojo very careful not to engage himself in work that would have led to the penalty, but because he couldn't engage himself, Chiefs were able to win it back. Simmons. Hard defensive work still from Ben Earl. Noel. Woodburn there with him.
Tackle!
Lewington gumming things up, Brian.
Surrey's going nowhere near the rucks. They don't feel they can get any love from. They're happy enough just to play defensive line. Look, committing no one to the ruck. Just lining up for the next phase, but...
Oh, Simmons tried to get it away. Mako Vunipola was in the way. Otherwise, it might have been Gray. Vunipola over the top of Yendall, wearing half of his shirt. It's Vermeulen, and this is Skinner. Within 3 metres, Chiefs, Maunda. Oh, it was Malins who held him up there. Brilliant work, but still Vermeulen, hardly wearing his shirt, but it hardly matters. How long has it been since we looked away to the right? But Exeter all of a sudden doing what Sarries did in the first half. Not much to make a meal out of, but they've created a 5-star dish there.
How good has Jacques Vermeulen been for the Chiefs today? The initial carry was from him right at the beginning of all of that. And then Simmons makes that bust through.
Yeah, I'm just having a look, mate. Just
and
take your
all
time,
those big forward carriers for Exeter just starting to find a bit of a foothold. Vermeulen with the pass out the back. Skinner finds a half gap on a poor tackle. But then when they get into this area of the field so deadly, that could have gone, but they don't panic. And in comes Vermeulen, rides, stands still, allows the tacklers to get to him, and then just uses that power of the extension of his knees to get himself over the line with a bit of support from Gray.
It's instructive to see that despite the fact that Joe Simmons is down on the pitch, it remains Henry Slade's job to try to add the extra 2.
Big kick, isn't it?
Off it goes, the crowd behind the posts told you first. Perfect kick, and we are set for the perfect finish. Into the final 10, couple of points in it.
Look at that, the last possession for the Chiefs, 2.5 seconds on the ruck speed. Almost impossible to get your defensive line set, definitely impossible to get any line speed.
And a lot of those rucks were won with one or two bodies, which allowed them to actually line up for the next phase and the phase after that, get some continuity into their play that's been lacking in large parts of this game.
Alex Goode just happy to thump it long and put what pressure they can on Woodburn, who tries to weave his way up to the 22.
Johnny, not again.
Yendall. That's a meaty drive. Outside the 22 now, though, so any kick will have to be carefully directed.
Okay, use it, please. Alex,
Big Billy is in the backfield again. You'd have to imagine this one will be contestable.
Maunda picking out Daly instead. Daly doing well to shrug off the initial challenge of Skinner. Mako Bonapola. Oh, Slade wasn't far away. It was shoveled on by Goode, and it had to be. Lazowski, Earl, runs into Chinza. Johnny Gray not far away. Oh, and then down low, Alec Clary can't get down low enough.
He's accidentally in front of the kick. He's kicked forward, he's picked it up in front. I can't play advantage, that's why he's still scum.
Fair to say, the error count's gone up significantly
Got blood everywhere.
for both sides. And it's really, really important errors. We've seen Saracens turn the ball over with knock-ons inside Exeter's 22, which gave them that initial impetus.
Ben Earl makes way.
Knock-ons on the camera, is it, please?
Reintroduced to the fold today as a starter. Jackson Ray on as a finisher.
I got it just inside the Sarries half.
Big tackle count from Ben Earl, 19. Over the course of that 73-minute stint. Always industrious.
Just saw that graphic come up. 9-4 in the handling errors. Saracens had made none in the first half. They didn't have much ball. Made 4 in this half.
In their half,
done so well to change the outlook of the game.
Where you are. Yeah, cheers.
Wrestle back the possession. Just need to make sure that they don't make those errors.
Time will go on the crouch anyway. Okay, we just...
Come on now, ready? Legion, hold on. Let's go, boys, come on.
Looks comfortable, doesn't it?
Come on, Alex. Yes, Mark, yes, Mark.
That's going to stay on this throughout this scrum.
Crouch!
Down!
Bind! Set!
Skinner and Knoll behind the scrum. Can go either way.
Play the ball!
Maunder, Slade, Whitten wasn't far away, and now Skinner. Remember the grandstand finishes for Exeter against Leicester here, against Harlequins. Whitten, Woodburn glides through beautifully, held on to by Tompkins. Done.
No!
Maunder goes on his own, very nearly through.
No! No!
Lazowski had to be alert. Always does his defensive job, Alex Lazowski. Gray. Devon voices, Devon pressure, Saracens penalty.
They're not a team that kicks the ball away with their ability to score from close quarters. We know how good they are. This is what they've built their success over the last few years on, being so good in this area. Oh, commentators curse.
You could saw Vermeulen there
12 never onside.
saying to yourself, Scott, what are you doing? I was latching onto you, you give me the ball. They knew they had the freebie though. Big call. Do they take those 3 points on offer? And a big discussion about it.
It's not a simple kick, given the circumstances.
Oh, that's great leadership from Henry Slade. It's exactly what you want in your kicker, to go in and take ownership of the situation. No, I knocked over the last one from a similar position. I'm definitely having a shot at goal here. Would you have a kicker come over and go, oh, what do you think? I'm not so sure. Will we go to the corner? You just know that they're not fully committed to knocking it between the sticks. So I love that. Even if it doesn't go over, it just exudes this confidence.
Guys on the 5.
Just to say, by the way, I know lots of you may well have been confused as to Henry Slade's absence from the England squad this week. Rob Baxter wasn't. He's been talking about how Slade needed that summer to have the shoulder operation. He missed the summer tour to Australia with England. Didn't have much of a pre-season, which means that he's not quite hit the heights that Slade would want, that maybe Rob Baxter would want up until this point. And Rob Baxter quite happy for him just to rebuild, get back to where he was with his club. And this, it goes without saying, a huge moment in that rebuilding process. Surplus to England requirements. this week. Priceless for the Chiefs. Henry Slade, Exeter ahead.
Alex Goode wants to get on with it. They want to force a penalty in reverse while Exeter are still high-fiving each other.
That's a huge take. He's knocked it on though. It was Gray initially rose above everyone else. It was a very, very good restart from Alex Goode.
Definitely went 10. He was about 2 metres inside.
So difficult now defensively for the Chiefs. 1 point game, 3 minutes left on the clock. Knowing that they've got the boot of Elliot Daly against them. Do you commit to a breakdown? Do you risk giving the referee an easy penalty decision against you? But if you don't do that, you make it a lot more easy for Saracens to get that momentum against you.
Biggest crowd of the season at Sandy Park, making quite a racket. Tompkins.
Not on in the tackle.
Laid back by Goode. It's not on in the tackle. So Christie can recycle things, and Lazowski again. He's run that hard central line so well today. Deflected off Exeter limbs.
TMO says just in the tackle. Love to see this one again. What's that arm doing out there? Is it? Oh, I think that's fair enough. It does look as though it's all parts of the collision. Only Henry Slade knows.
It's just as his arm's coming into the tackle.
Whether there's any intent of trying to block the ball off, but if you're looking at it full tilt, it looks as though it is an arm swinging into a tackle rather than trying to own that space of where the ball is going to be.
Huge, huge throw now for young Theo Dan. We know what he can do around the field. We know his work-ons as his set piece. Delivers it.
Perfectly to Itoje, who's brought down safely. Dan looking for it.
Bound in legally.
Josh Josefa Scott found himself in an awkward position. Chins is there as well. Oh, and Chiefs have won it back. Biggest roar of the weekend down Devon way.
Number 19.
Well, Christie's saying, I had the ball available. How come you can call that a collapsed maul, but it's still part of the same maul? I guess the only argument would be, how does the maul collapse? And is it a tackle from Chinza? But Chinza does such a good job of getting through onto it. Now, no, that is Christie that takes that down. It's still a maul, so Chinza doesn't have to move.
Work in the middle of all that of Jack Dunn as well, who was the first to make a right old nuisance of himself, and then Chinza followed it up. Just over a minute to go. Exeter scrum. Saracens shoving for all their worth, and Exeter splintering, and Simmons under a pile of pressure. Being hassled by Ivan van Sale, and now Saracens have the scrum.
Oh, it's game on here. It's game on. Again, needed the all-important huge scrum, and they delivered Saracens on that occasion. Exeter lucky to get it out through that man Simmons. But now with the ball as their own put in, can they have a similarly penetrative scrum and eke out a penalty? We know it's within range of Elliot Daly. That's their only focus. It'll be, rather than what's going to be in the launch play, scrum first. Can you get one more shot at sneaking this game from the home side?
See what they're looking for. It's a penalty. 8 men shoving furiously, and maybe a lifeline.
More than a lifeline, a shot. Who's going to take it? Elliot Daly stepping up to take the ball off Alex Goode.
Tom Foley, referee, is standing his ground as to where the mark is. He's not going to have anyone trying to steal a yard closer to the post. But it's a substitute coming on. It is a favourite side for that right footer.
Saw a lot of Chris Chesney when he was running around as a second row forward, as a back row forward. I didn't see him kick many of these very often in his 338 games for Saracens. different skill sets. Alex Goode. On a significant day for him to make it a winning day. First kick of the season is an enormous one. What a player Alex Goode is. Record equaling, win snatching. Sarries 6 from 6. Bangs to the armour today down here in Devon, but still unbeaten. Exeter 20, Saracens 22 at the end of a fabulous game of rugby union.
Yeah, another belter of a game, a totally different type of game that we've come to associate with the Gallagher Premiership this year.